Hey, this is a video series dedicated to detoxification, reclaiming your health on a cellular level. My name is Matthew and I'm from Canada.
My name is Dimitri, I'm from Switzerland, Europe, and I want to start this right now with introducing what we have here on the table. So we have a couple of produce, we have a couple of books like these, and yeah, I mean we all read a bunch of books, and to be honest, it takes a lot of time, and we want to get away from that and just give you what you really need. So then we have a couple of herbs, couple of juicers, one juicer, and
we're not selling anything, man. Come on. We are just educating you how these tools can assist you on a journey of health, reclaiming it, making it yours, your birthright.
all of these things really have a purpose. So the fruit, the vegetables, the information, a juicer, a blender, a baggy wash, some water, some herbs, either a professional set or
Your own wild
herbs.
Oh yeah, that's the real power. Boom. Now, I guess we're gonna kick this off with a series of questions that will break the surface of what detoxification and how it can work for you and what are all the tidbits and knowledge.
So let me start with one.
Oh, okay.
Matthew,
Yes?
who do you think is eligible for detox?
Most people would say that they're healthy, and that's great if you feel healthy. But the thing is, detoxification can assist anybody to create a better reality for their body. See, if you've absorbed toxins in the environment you lived in or live in currently, your body has to eliminate those toxins if it's going to get healthier, to be your highest potential. So the answer to that question, Dimitri, is everybody could benefit from a detox, but certainly people that are really, really in a low point of health at this point. Now, Dimitri, I'm thinking to myself, why would I choose to go this method as opposed to, say, a more conventional means of treating or, you know?
Because usually, and you just said the word treating, usually almost all the modalities really are just treating the problem. They are not turning this whole wagon around, because we are in an unbalanced condition. Almost everybody watching this is really highly unbalanced, and we are too, okay? This is not something that only you are. And because this is factual, because we have been living a very destructive lifestyle for a long time. And if you want to get back into homeostasis, chemically, physically, spiritually, whatever, then you must start turning that destructive lifestyle around and start building your health. And that is really what detox means. It simply means cleaning and strengthening your body, getting back into homeostasis.
Yeah, it certainly does.
So another question, Matthew. A lot of people always ask me, how long should I detox?
How long does it take to detox? How long do you want it to take? Do you want it to take really long or short period? It's really up to you how long detox takes. But some things you got to take into consideration are some factors like how toxic you are at this point, how strong your body is, and how long and how powerful it will be at pushing and eliminating and dragging all that sludge waste out and eliminating it. And then also you have to consider what your current lifestyle is and how badly you want health, what you're willing to give up in order to achieve health. Now, all of these things are very vague, but they're the core principles of how long detox will take. Because if somebody's really healthy, or rather they have a strong constitution, but they are also toxic, that's going to take them a lot less time to heal than it would for somebody who is really weak constitution and equally as toxic. So a lot of factors come into play as far as the time goes. A question for you, Dimitri, is when people are detoxing, what are some things that they can experience? What's going to happen?
The first thing that you're gonna experience, you may not like this, but you gotta change your habits.
Ooh.
And this is really something that you must do. You must get rid of old habits and introduce new dietary styles, especially because diet has a huge impact on your condition, on your chemical, physical imbalance, and you can have a great effect also on your emotional and mental state by just changing your diet, introducing some herbs, and especially the main focus lies on what you consume on a daily manner. So this is going to be the first thing, and this is going to be a little bit, some people don't like that, but really when you look beyond that, you will see that what truly happens is you get healthier, you get happier, you expand yourself. It's really something very beneficial, and it's cool, it's exciting.
Yeah, if you can eliminate one thing a day that is not healthy for you or your environment or your family life, your relationships, anything, if you can improve one thing a day, even one thing, say it's you don't tie your shoelaces. That could be unhealthy. Tie those shoelaces. Try and make improvements each day, and then you'll watch your life kind of turn to another dimension or a different reality.
It doesn't really matter how quickly you do this, as long as you're not in a very serious condition. You can just do baby steps, 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. Nobody's here behind you with a club or something. You're just going at your pace, enjoying the ride, staying balanced, and doing the right changes. And that is what we want to give you. We want to knowledge you up so that you see what is important, what is not that important. Do I have to have the perfect air, the perfect surrounding? Do I need to live in the jungle or whatever? No, you don't have to do these things.
You can. That would be really great if you did. What he's saying is, if there's a mountain and your optimal health is at the top of the mountain, it's better to take your time and go at a nice, easy pace and get to the top, as opposed to getting a quarter of the way up and saying, I don't want to do this, this is too hard, because that can be really challenging and a stress to your body. We want to teach detoxification in a way that is more conducive for achievement and good results, as opposed to really bad results that can cause further harm to your body and your mental aspect as well. Now, some things that I want to go over before we get too much and too far into this is some definitions and terms that are often used to define the principles of detoxification. Alkalization, alkalosis, alkaline, acidity.
Yeah, let's look at this chemically speaking. I said we are very unbalanced earlier, and that is really chemically speaking what is happening is we have the alkaline side and we have the acid side of chemistry. And in a healthy condition, in homeostasis, we are around 80% alkaline. Now, the lifestyles, the destructive lifestyles that our whole society is living is really extremely acid forming. And it destroys our bodies literally over a long period of time. So what we must do to get back into homeostasis is we must alkalize. So that is, alkalization is the first term that he mentioned. Then the second one is that, and a little bit different, a little bit confusing, is that some fruits, like for example citruses, they are acidic. But however, when you eat them after digestion, the ash in your body is really alkaline forming, so it has a high alkalinity. So you see there are a couple of terms that can be confusing if you not really understand what they mean. And I hope that is for now with these terms is okay. So Matthew, let me take this one step further and really, what is the main focus that we must have in detox?
Main focus is true health, strength, and determination to be your highest potential. But really, there's 4 core principles that we have to look at: digestion, absorption, utilization, and elimination. These 4 are what we need to look at. I'll focus on the first one for now because it is of the utmost importance to begin detoxification. So first, you have to think along the lines of health. Then comes digestion. So the moment you put something in your mouth, it has 100% potential energy. Say you eat this watermelon right here, or this cantaloupe, or anything on this table. It has 100% potential energy. The moment you put it in your mouth, you begin to break it down with chewing it, right? Now, if you are failing at this, if you're not chewing your food properly, you're going to lose the energy there. Not only that, it's going to be harder to digest once it reaches the stomach, and that's going to cause further loss of energy. Okay, so we have anything to add to
after
that?
digestion, really, well, you just have broken down the food into its constituents, and the more complex the food is, the worse this is. On the other hand, if you use a juicer, you help your body in that process, which is beneficial, and you will get more of that potential energy if you're lacking at that step. But it also has some negative aspects like no fiber, etc. But that's okay. Now let's go into the second step, and that is once you have digested your food, you must absorb it into your bloodstream. Here you can have a lot of obstructions on the wall of the GI tract, but also in the wall, in our sewer system. And if there's a blockage, you can't get everything into your bloodstream. Now, once it's in the blood, you must also utilize it, which means you must get it into the cells. And for that, lots of nutrients, a lot of goodies really need carriers like hormones, steroids, etc. And if you don't produce these hormones, then you will not get the calcium or whatever we're talking about to the cells, and you can really end up in deficiencies even though you get it in the bloodstreams. So you see, when you have a watermelon, when you have a hamburger, when you have a pizza, whatever meal you eat, if you're lacking in digestion, absorption, and utilization, you will get very little of that potential energy actually to your cells. And now comes even a flip side. If you're lacking in those three steps, then there's a greater need for waste. Because what happens with the things you can't digest?
And there's one thing I want to say before going into elimination about the digestion. A lot of bad food combining is also creating fermentation in the body, and that is also that's an indicator that you're losing even more potential energy. And also, if you're eating the wrong foods that need a lot of energy just to break it apart, just to even give you energy. Say you eat a heavy meal at Christmas. Do you know how much energy it takes to actually get energy from the food you ate? It's not efficient whatsoever.
And that's exactly what we must focus on in detox. That's why we're talking about this now, because what really the end goal is to give your body as much energy as possible, because your body is the healer. You just need to give him the energy that he can use to get rid of toxins, heavy metals, chemicals, and strengthen your weaknesses. And if you don't provide that energy, if you're eating things that are very complex, that need a lot of energy to get, and then they produce even a lot of waste that he needs to deal with, then in the end you will have very little energy left, and your body will not be able to detox.
So I think at this point you understand that if you're going to eat anything out of a box, kind of like out of a factory, generally it's going to be a lot harder for your body to break apart the constituents that will give you the energy you need to have a thriving lifestyle. Now, that's where these foods come into play. You got your melons and all your fruits, and sometimes vegetables come into play in detoxification. We'll get into that further, but the fruits are really the primary focus because they have an instant turnover of energy with the smallest amount of energy needed to actually create the energy. So it's very efficient, very powerful, and at the same time, great at elimination and pulling out the lymph and moving things as we go along, which brings us to elimination, which is really
maybe one thing to add here for some that are very experienced already. We're not saying that you only need to consume fruit, but we go into this later because there is much more to this, okay? So really, when we talk about elimination, then we must know that we have a system that is designed for that. We have a system that is designed to get rid of all the garbage in us. And when we really fail in those three first steps, then we will have an overload of waste, either what we ingest or also from cellular metabolism that we produce constantly on a day-to-day basis. And if we are not able to get rid of that, then we will start to accumulate, we will start to store toxins.
You have an unhappy face. You want to have a smiley face, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's pretty. It's okay. but it's true. It's when you're not eliminating, you will clog yourself up, and your cells are not going to smile anymore. Look at all your cells that you have in your body, like little people that are working for you. And if they are not happy, if they're clogged, if they're full of mucus, if there is heavy metals that are interfering with what they need to do, or drugs or chemicals, then do you really think that you can be happy at that point?
You're going to block up at the bottom. From the bottom up, you are going to clog. So just say you're 10 years old and you feel great. A 10-year-old should have tons of energy, running around, bouncing off trees, whatever. That blockage is going to reach up until you get older and you reach 30 or 40 and you don't feel so good and you don't feel so young. And this is where elimination comes in. If you would be eliminating cleanly from eating more conducive foods for elimination, then you would have never gotten to this position in the first place. And that's where we wanted to change or give you some options to change the habits that have got you in the position that you're in at this point. I guess the next video is ready for
let's just
people.
Continue. Yeah, what about the lymphatic system, which is really our sewer system? Let's get more into this. What are we talking about here? Is this okay, Matthew? Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
When you have a house and it burns down, what would you do?
Okay, so picture this: your house is burnt down, like Dimitri just said, and usually you decide whether you're going to destroy the whole body or a house, or you're going to repair it, renovate it. Now, before you go and start putting plaster or drywall on the framing of the house which is burnt, you're going to want to eliminate or move all of that burnt waste material out of the house first before bringing in new building materials and building renovating and creating a brand new structure that is squeaky clean, running streamlined, and perfect for you. This is where we have to look at the human body and its current state. See, the waste matter that we've been referring to is actually very acidic and is burning the inside materials and cellular tissues of the body, which correlates the body to the house, okay? Correlate the body to the house and imagine that your body has been burnt and needs to be rebuilt. So we need to eliminate that acidic waste and then allow the new building materials to come in.
So where is this waste coming from? Let's look at this. And we have, obviously the things that we ingest. If we ingest heavy metals, chemicals, drugs, or really bad foods or stuff like that, then your body's going to change that to some degree during those digestion processes, etc. But what you will have in the end, you will have acidic waste. That's how we call this, because really it ends up on the acidic scale of the pH scale. When you have acids and you pour them over your skin like a fluid or whatever, what is going to happen to your hand? It's going to burn the cells of your hand, and the same thing happens in your body, everywhere, because your organs, your glands, your bones, your hair, your tongue, whatever, just cells. Okay? So if you start accumulating waste, then ultimately they will start to burn. And there's the other side, and this is maybe the most important thing that you must consider, and mostly people don't look at that, and that is your cells constantly produce waste, cellular metabolism. And if you start to fail in eliminating, then you will start to accumulate even though you would already live a healthy lifestyle. So you could already eat those things, but if you're not able to eliminate that which your cells produce, you will still get worse and worse. It's just going to take long.
This is called intracellular constipation or cellular constipation, where you've gotten past the point where your body's not only constipated, your cells are constipated because they're floating and feeding on their own matter. When you get so full of waste that because you're not eliminating it, think of it as recirculating back into your bloodstream, creating a toxic environment in your bloodstream that is feeding your cells. So this is why we need to focus on the lymphatic system, the sewer system of your body, to really cleanse and strengthen. We need to clean before we strengthen. We want to do them simultaneously,